So as you mentioned that it takes time to adapt.
Yes.
How, I mean, like, I would figure, like, you know, in a lot of ways, like, that depends on timing, how much interaction you're getting. But how long did it take you guys to feel your adaptation was adequate enough to be considered, you know, American, or, you know?
Wow, that's rough. So what I can say is sport. You know what I'm saying? Play a
Sports is a
huge
big
part of
thing,
that.
yeah.
So that was the main reason that helped me out trying to adapt, try to engage to the culture and everything. So like I was pretty good at soccer. You know what I'm saying? So the only way I could make friends was like. Think about it. Coming here, you don't speak English, you don't know nothing but the culture, you don't know nothing, right?
Yeah.
So you're just like this kid, whatever. So in order for me trying to fit in, was like soccer was the way. So I would think like sport, you know, that's how you make friends, and you know, you get to talk to people and they start knowing you and all stuff. So it took I'll say like a few years, cause you know I was like middle school, maybe like my freshman in high school. So probably about 3 years, yeah. And then after that, I just moving forward, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm gonna add to that too. So like, my dad actually was like a goalkeeper, like in Africa. So like, soccer's been his
like
thing.
Professional?
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, growing up in that, like he wanted me to play soccer so bad, and I did. I actually played striker for like good 5-6 years in high school and a little bit of college. But football kind of took like my thing. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's like, first of all, they kept saying I was too aggressive in soccer. And I was like, all right, what do you mean by that? But like, it just like, I brought so much like power. They was just like, well, you're just gonna destroy everybody. Like, you gotta relax. And I'm like, well, I mean, playing the game. What you want me to do? So like, my pop's like, all right, well, go and try that football, American football, whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? So I did it, and I actually ended up playing running back for Marshall University. And man, it's like, but I would say this, like, soccer really like created like so much athleticism in me though, man. Like, there's so much endurance that is consolidated in soccer, bro. And people sleep on that. Like, I got my speed from soccer, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it helped me actually, like, you know, going from a African or just international sport and utilizing that in American football, in the sense that, like, you know, you just learn how to be so agile and just like, I mean, you become unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I love the fact that, like, growing up in a soccer oriented like family, for example, was just like, it just creates like such a big forte, you know what I'm saying, where you just like, you can utilize it in everything you do, you know what I mean? Because I also ran track too. I did the 100s and 200s, and like, speed is like, it's been a thing. And like, when you play soccer, like, you know, like, if you don't run your ass off, someone's gonna get that ball from you, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing in football, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it orients in everything you freaking like do. So I would say like, sports really like, it's such a huge impact, you know what I'm saying? Especially like coming from like a foreign family, you know what I'm saying? Like, he understands that, he knows that, you know what I'm saying? So it's a big influence.
Is it the same for you, since you've only been here for 8 years?
See, so for me, it kind of was, because I played rugby back home, then I kind of continued playing here. But what helped me was, luckily for me, prior to moving to the States, I lived in 5 other countries. So I was already used to kind of adapting to different cultures and different like systems and all that. So coming to America, it was a shock, because, you know, the accent and the, you know, the way people interact and all that. But because I'd already experienced other cultures and different, like, you know, I guess accents and the way people interact and all that, that kind of helped me, because I'm used to having to change, because like I said, I lived in 5 other countries before moving to the States. But sports did help. I went to college, and I didn't know, and it was just myself and my brother. He had been here 2 years before we all moved. And when he introduced me to his friends, because I'm very like reserved and kind of to myself kind of thing. So like, he basically forced me to like, hey man, you need to.
Until he's at the club.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the guy that sits in the corner like this chair. So like, rugby did help, because basically sports is a universal language if you think about it. Like, soccer's played the same way here as it is in Europe, as it is in Africa and all that. So through that, I was able to kind of learn and meet people who were basically able to teach me what America's about through them. So then that did help me adapt too, because I made friends on the rugby team. They're like, hey, let's go hang out afterwards and do this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's do it. And then they kind of showed me like how people do things out here, essentially. So sports did help me, but also living in other different countries before living in the States also quite helped a bit, because you're pretty much forced to like adopt their ways, but still, you know, making sure you keep your own traditions and all that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you have to be like basically multifaceted. You have to be able to like be American, but then also African. Because yeah, I could be African in America, but then there'll be that like communication disconnect. It's like, oh, why is he doing that? That is weird, you know. So it's one of those where I was like, okay, yes, I'm African. I'm from South Africa, this, that, but I also have to learn how to be American. So I kind of had to like shut my African brain and be like, okay, for the next 3 years, just try be American. So that way you can adopt and be able to live here without having any issues and all that. Because if I stayed African, I'm like, God, this guy, like I could do something that's cool in Africa, but here could put you in like prison, you know, stuff like that. So I kind of, that helped where like I met those people, because they told me, it's like, okay, in America, this is how we do this, and this is how we do this. If you do this, it's frowned upon, or it's seen as disrespect. Kind of like in Asia, people here like they stare a lot, and now back in Africa, we don't stare. Like staring is seen as disrespect. So every time I see someone staring at me, I'm like, ah.
Like, what you looking
but then I'm like, wait, I'm still in America. Then I'm like, I stare back, you know, kind of thing. Whereas in Africa, that would be seen as like disrespectful. So it's like, if I didn't, you know, adapt or adjust my mentality in that sense, I would have been like in trouble like years ago, just because, you know, I was still living as an African in America. But so luckily meeting those people and like, you know, getting involved in sports and all that did help me like become more American quicker. It took me maybe, I'd say like 4 years to fully like adjust and become accustomed to like the American way.
Okay, so question for you then. Do you feel more American than African, or more African than American when you brought it all together? You feel like you're 50-50 with it now? Like
I'd say if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say I'm probably like 70% African, 30% American. Because even though I adapt, the 30% I kept is what will keep me alive and, you know, functioning in America. But I'm like, I'm not going to get rid of who I am and like how I grew up and my traditions. Because I know, like, for example, I went back home in January. If I went there as like 60% American, 40% African, hey, it would have been, you know, I would have been in trouble there. So I was like, no, let me keep the American. That'll keep me like, you know, grounded and alive and out the like the illegal system or like the jurisdictional system, you know, and kind of help me like, you know, maintain a job, grow, succeed, and all that. Let me keep that part, but then let me also maintain what keeps me African. That way I don't lose who I am as a person versus saying, oh, I'm an American now, therefore now I'm American. It's like, yeah, I'm glad and humble and like I appreciate American culture and all that, but at the same time I don't want to lose who I am.
That's true.
So I was like, let me keep the important stuff and then, you know, also keep the important from Africa. So
Facts. And I love that perspective because it's just like I said, like, you know, growing up in an African home and a Jamaican home is like, but I'm still like raised as an American, you know what I'm saying? I'm born on American soil. I'm New York to the day I die.
So then what percentage would you be of African versus American?
There you go. So for me, it's 50-50.
Okay.
Because I feel like I get a fine balance of the two. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always going to be an African Jamaican in my soul, for sure. You know what I'm saying? I speak to these niggas like they African. I'm like, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to treat them like they American. Like, these are my guys. You know what I mean? So it's like... But like I know where like how to adapt a little differently compared to my brothers because I was raised in a full American like aspect, you know what I'm saying? Like I spent a lot of my years in America, you know what I mean? But I've still traveled overseas and I understand the African culture, I understand the Jamaican culture, I understand the respect, I understand the sense of disrespect. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like I bring all that balance and I understand that. That's why I can relate to them, I can relate to y'all at the same time.
Alright, bet.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, well, since you've been
I'm a little different from like I said. Me is probably gonna be like I'll put 60 American and 40 African.
Okay.
Yeah, because I came here as a young kid, man. So I grew up here. Like I said, like I had to adapt to the culture. I learned the American and everything. So that's how I live my life. And then the African part is more like since I came as a young kid. Like, I wouldn't say forget, but like, I don't remember like not much, you know what I'm saying? From back home, since I haven't been back since 2006. I mean, at least he got the time, you know. But I haven't been, so think about it. From 2006 to now, things have changed. You know, I got family people back there that calls me and like, hey, I'm this, that, I'm your uncle, I'm this, that. I don't remember them. You know, I got cousins, I got all these people. You know what I'm saying? But there's a small percentage like I got a little brother, like a full brother, like you know what I'm saying. So I take care of him and all that. Those are the only people I kind of remember, but everybody else I don't. So if I ever go back home, I was trying to learn the culture.
Yeah.
Back again, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna just go, oh, I know this place, I know that, I know this, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll be foolish to say that. So I must to engage again, learn that culture, you know what I'm saying? But I don't forget where I came from, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'll put more on the American side because I basically grew up here, went to school here, like went to college and everything, you know, here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, you know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of a little fucked up, you know what I'm saying?
He's kind of torn up. Nah, I actually really relate to that.
American.
Yeah.